Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. I got my taxes done. I schedule manga Monday videos a few months in advance, so if it's after April 15th, don't worry. I took care of the taxation is theft requirements before the deadline. Feels great. So, from the greetings from the past, by the way. So, I finished Pokemon Adventures. Now that I'm finished with this story arc, I think they jumped to like Ruby and Sapphire next, maybe. But this is definitely the end of the arc set, and all of the plot threads set up in the first series, Red and Blue. So that means I'm kind of ready to do a capstone on Pokemon Adventures. And kind of the neat thing about Pokemon Adventures, I was thinking while reading this last volume, is there are a couple really stupid things in it and a couple things I like. So I came up with this little bell chart, bell curve for it. So I think it's more important for something to be stupid and good than for it to be smart and bad. In fact, I would actually say that at the very bottom of the lameness chart would be smart bad books. I would say stupid bad books are better and more fun than smart bad books. And then above stupid bad books are stupid good books. This is a stupid good book. And then at the very highest is the smart good books. And those get rare and rarer the farther you go out. The basic premise is being smart is not as important as midwits think it is. The midwits think they're so smart and they're better than everybody else, but the stupid good books, those just like outclass the smart bad books by $1,000,000. It's also kind of stupid and smart in a very weird, unique combination that's hard for me to describe. Like, I simultaneously think it's very smart and well plotted. At the same time, I think it's kind of stupid in places, and I'm trying to figure out how that is. I think it's the fact that Hidenori Kusaka puts a lot of thought into his plots to the point where he maybe is sort of stupidly overthinking all of his explanations for how Pokemon powers works. But you can't fault him for not putting some thought into the crazy random BS that the Pokemon do, even though he's having the Pokemon do some crazy random BS in places. So let's dive into it. So maybe like the reason I say it's stupid but good is there are weird things like the protagonist changing every few volumes, and none of the protagonists who lined up, none of them are a Shakespearean character. None of them are a very three-dimensional and complex and multi-layered character, but all of them have like a thing going on that sort of makes that they're kind of developed by the standard of what 10-year-old characters should be, right? They have something they want, they're not getting it for some reason, they have to struggle and overcome some problem to get it. And if that's all you really need to make them an interesting character for like a children's fantasy adventure story. So Gold is like Red is an impulsive and intuitive kind of guy, but unlike Red, Gold's a little bit of an idiot and a little bit of a selfish bastard. In spite of his sort of like good-natured, he has a heart of gold. And one of the weird things is when the writers took a break from Gold and Silver to focus on Crystal, she kind of became the protagonist for a while. And now that Gold is back, he sort of reassumes his role as the primary protagonist of Gold and Silver. So Gold's big thing is that he sees Pokemon as family, not tools, which is what impressed Oak enough to give him a Pokedex, even though Oak thinks he's kind of a naive, immature young idiot. He has a good heart, so Oak gives him a chance. So they in the final battle with the mysterious Mask of Ice, who his identity is revealed in a really cool way in this volume. He asks Mask of Ice, "What are Pokemon to you?" And Mask of Ice says, "They're tools." You creep. So theming. Gold, sees Pokemon as family, not tools. Mask of Ice says he sees Pokemon as purely tools, purely a means to an end. He's a utilitarian, or so we suspect. Meanwhile, the kooky plan was to lure all of the gym leaders onto the train and then fire the train off at a rapid speed to get all of the powerful trainers out of the stadium. Then Lieutenant Surge, who works for Team Rocket, so he's a bad guy, but he's also doesn't like Mask of Ice, who's kind of like a bad guy who's on the side of justice this time. This is so stupid, but I love it. It's stupid but good. He rips the mask off of one of the underlings and tells him, "Look, you're Team Rocket. You don't work for this Mask of Ice guy." And he reveals to them that Team Rocket is an acronym, which I think is completely unique to this manga. And so the acronym for Team Rocket is Raid on the City, Knock It Out, My Loyal Evil Tusks. And this memory of these stirring words awakens their consciences so they can resist the mind control brainwashing of the Mask of Ice and remember their pride as Team Rocket. Wait a minute. Rocket stands for Raid on the City, Knock Out Evil Tusks? What? Well, it's so stupid and it's so great. I really want to know what this was in Japanese. Was it just like a Japanese variant on an acronym, or is the Japanese supposed to be some kind of play on words or pun? So anyway, it's just an example of Kusaka feeling like he needs to do something like really specific and detailed that's completely unique to his own take on the Pokemon world. I don't know. I kind of like it that he's sort of doing like a neat character moment where Team Rocket are sort of like thieves with a sense of honor among thieves, so they don't work for like a nasty guy like Mask of Ice. That's kind of cool. So, big revelation. Who is the mysterious Mask of Ice? It was Price the whole time. Oh my god. So, what's neat is Price was being set up as potentially the guy who could be Mask of Ice. And then Kusaka also gave us some neat little counter arguments to make you think, okay, he seems like he'd be the guy to be the one, but he was there when Mask of Ice attacked. So there's no way that Price could be the one because he was accounted for when Mask of Ice made his attack. And then plot twist, he had a plan the whole time. And what was really neat about this from just like a mystery writing perspective is I was set up to believe that Price could be Mask of Ice. I was given evidence that he has an ironclad alibi. He couldn't be Mask of Ice. And we also saw in plain sight the tools that Price could use to create a decoy and set up his perfect alibi. So we knew that Price would train his Pokemon on these beautifully controlled ice puppets, basically. So once you know that he has the ability to have fine motor control over ice puppets, that creates the opportunity for him to create a decoy so he can set up his perfect alibi. That's great. There was even some stuff where he was talking about how he never expected Suicune to come after him, and you thought, well, is that because Suicune knows he'll capture it? Is that because he's too big of a tough guy for Suicune? And of course, it's because Suicune can see his heart. Dogs know whether you're a bad guy. So Suicune knew he was a bad guy the whole time. And what we learn about Price is that he says that he sees Pokemon as tools, not friends. But of course, he has two tragic Pokemon he was separated from when he was a young man. He's yearned to reunite with these Pokemon, so he wants to travel back in time so he can save the Pokemon he lost in his youth. So really, he's an evil bastard utilitarian who enslaves people, but he's doing it because he loves his Pokemon and he wants to reunite with his Pokemon. So he was lying. He was lying about being a utilitarian as a way of, I don't know, like hardening his heart, making his heart as cold as ice, when really his whole plan was to go back in time and cope with the tragic loss of his youth. Some neat things from Pokemon Red and Blue finally get developed. So we knew in Pokemon Red and Blue that Green was kidnapped as a child by a mysterious bird Pokemon, leading her to kind of always have a irrational fear of birds because of this childhood trauma. So she gets faced with her childhood trauma. She reveals that she's done training to overcome her childhood trauma by training with bird Pokemon. And of course, she has the legendary bird Pokemon, because in a climax, we have to have all the heroes gather together for a climactic battle, and we have to see almost all the cool legendary Pokemon, except Mewtwo, which kind of makes sense because they've already given Mewtwo a cool role in a climactic battle. So they don't want Mewtwo to upstage some of the other legendary Pokemon. So the legendary birds, the legendary dogs, the legendary bird duo, all of them are fighting each other. It's exactly what a 10-year-old wants in a climax. All of the toughest Pokemon fighting each other. All right, secondary characters. So Misty isn't as big a deal in the manga as she is in the anime, but you can kind of tell that she's sort of a fan favorite, so they wanted to give her a little something. She's revealed that she has always loved Red and hasn't been able to express her feelings. So after working with Suicune, she's defeated in battle, and she passes Suicune on to Crystal. So what's kind of neat about this is they aren't doing that much. They haven't been doing that much with Crystal. When she was the star, she kind of got her little moment in the sun. She had her like struggle that she had to overcome, get back to basics, and learn how to ride a bicycle again after failing. And then it was kind of like this weird thing where she didn't actually get to capture any legendary Pokemon. The 3 legendary dogs each chose one of the gym leaders as their trainer. So you're kind of expecting her to, like, because she's a cat capturing expert, you're kind of expecting her to capture one of these legendary Pokemon. But Suicune recognized her as a viable trainer. She was the second choice for Suicune after Misty. So Misty's out, and Crystal has to carry on the legacy. And Misty kind of gets this moment that from the very beginning, I knew I wouldn't make it to the end. So it's kind of like this sad thing where you don't really expect yourself to be the person who will complete something or finish something. You have to do the best you can in the moment and hope that others carry on the baton for you. So it's kind of connecting to fighting a fight that you won't see the end of, falling in battle and trusting your comrades to carry on after you, or leaving a legacy, doing something with your life that you hope will be good in the long run, and hoping that after you're gone, the next generation will carry on your good work. So that's pretty neat. Price reveals the GS Ball, which was kind of like this cool thing that was set up in the anime and never went anywhere. I think there was also like something in Japan where you could download this special GS Ball to let you catch Celebi. So again, we get to see a cool legendary Pokemon, the time travel Pokemon. So his evil plan is to make a special Pokeball to capture Celebi so he can go back in time and reunite with the Pokemon he lost. I covered everything I wanted to cover here. Why did I mark this? Okay, I marked this because this is an example of something stupid happening where even though it's kind of stupid, it's still kind of fun. So Gold's back. He's gotten separated from the rest of the group. He needs to get back to them to help them fight. And Gold, the well-meaning idiot, has a moment of crisis where he wonders if Professor Oak doesn't believe in him or doesn't believe in him having any special talents or abilities. So the reason I say this is sort of dumb but also kind of fun is Kusaka recognizes that all of these characters contribute to, it's sort of like the Kusaka is saying that everybody has a special talent or everybody has a special ability. So even if you like lose or fail in one dimension of life, that doesn't mean you are a failure for the rest of your life. You have to find what your path in life is. Now, that's kind of a cool message. It's a little dumb, and you can kind of tell he's straining a little bit to make it work. So he has this idea that red is the battling expert, blue is the training expert, yellow is a healing or compassionate expert, an expert at healing Pokemon, crystal is a capture expert, and then like his idea for green is that green is the evolution expert, okay, and silver is the trading evolution expert. Okay, like if you played the games, this would kind of work, but if you weren't like intimately familiar with the Pokemon games, you'd be thinking like, what does this even mean? And so what is Gold's ability? Is he just a no talent hack? Well, he's the hatching expert, and he hatches exactly the Pokemon he needs at the last possible minute. By the way, Red's Pikachu, I was going to say got some tail, is happily married in a healthy monogamous relationship with a female Pikachu. Male Pikachu's only one thing, and it's bleeping disgusting. No, it isn't. It's bleeping wholesome and wonderful. Monogamous marriage for Red's Pikachu. All right, so Gold hatches exactly the Pokemon he needs at the most important possible minute to get him to the last battle to fight with Price. So Price reveals his evil plan. His evil plan was to go back in time and save his poor Pokemon. Gold clearly feels some sympathy for him, but look, this guy's been enslaving people. He's been a terrorist, basically. He's got to go down. So they take him down, and there's kind of this neat thing where Price doesn't get to go back in time, but the baby Pokemon he was trying to reunite with his parents, it does get reunited with his parents. So it's kind of like the good aspect of what Price was trying to do gets accomplished, but Price still has to face face justice for his dirty doings. So it's kind of like he finds peace in his last moments. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I want to talk about this because this was where it's revealed that Price had a cool ability to use his cane and use Morse code to control his ice puppet from afar. It's really neat from a mystery writing perspective because he showed us every little piece of the puzzle beforehand. If we wanted to figure it out, I was thinking, well, it's either Price or it's Lorela or it's just going to be some complete pull it out your butt like we would never expect it because there was no foreshadowing of it. It was really cool that Price was successfully foreshadowed as the villain, but he used this really clever head fake to trick me into thinking, well, it can't be him because he has an alibi. And all of these little details were foreshadowed beforehand. We saw Price playing with his cane. We saw Price kind of like looking intently at his cane. So that was kind of the clue that there's something important about his cane that we should be paying attention to. So a neat little mystery writing story. They always have their nice little commentary at the end, talking about how everything's wrapped up and they're so thankful to their readers. Now that I've finished Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, and I kind of see these as these two story arcs kind of are united in theme. So this is the end of the story started in Red and Blue. What do I think overall? I would still say this is a really solid, excellent children's entertainment series. It has its kind of dumb moments that I think result from Kusaka maybe overthinking his world building and his logical explanations, but that's actually kind of an admirable trait. If he wants to throw some Pokemon superpower craziness at you, he wants some sort of logical explanation for how it works or how they're able to survive in this crazy situation. So that's really admirable. So I've said this is a dumb good book. It's kind of dumb because it's just very simple, very straightforward, very childlike, but a lot of thought is placed into foreshadowing elements of the plot, having each character's plot line reach a moment of fulfillment, even if he has to kind of like crank it out really fast at the end. Every character feels like they are supposed to be here and they have something to contribute to the final battle. And a climax that is actually a climax because everything comes together. All of the strongest Pokemon come together. All of the heroes come together to defeat evil at the end. Good triumphs over evil. So, final thoughts. Excellent series. Great addition to any young reader's library. A must-have for any Pokemon fan. And even if you're not a big Pokemon fan, just like a really ambitious example of taking inspiration from a pre-existing franchise and adding your own original ideas to it, really changing it up. Very different from the games, but in a loving way. Like you can tell he loves the original franchise and wants to please fans of the original game. So excellent. Real quick look, Batman Huntress #1, written by Greg Rucka, a blue checkmark with blue checkmark hot takes on Twitter. But credit where credit is due. This is a really good issue. Written by Greg Rucka, illustrated by Rick Burchett. The first time, I don't know if I've reviewed this or not. I know I've read it, but I don't think I've reviewed it. So the pro-con of it is it feels very much like Greg Rucka watched The Godfather and wanted to do his own spin on The Godfather in the universe of Batman. So, it's kind of like, well, do you have anything to add beyond just liking The Godfather? And he does. He has his character Huntress, who's Italian and born into a mafioso family. Do some really good internal monologue explaining the mafia, sort of explaining their culture and history, taking you back to Sicily and kind of pointing out that some of these Italian words that have a lot of significance within the mafia. These have historical roots going all the way back to Sicilian history. Like they were always under occupation from different governments. So the Sicilians learn, okay, we don't trust the government. We trust family because family is the only one we can count on. Do not be an infame. Do not be a doity rat. So it's those classic mob movie stereotypes. But Greg Rucka actually does some research to try to explain like the religion and family elements of it that inform mafia culture. So Huntress is this complex character where it seems like she's willing to kill. She has kind of like this tough relationship with Batman, where Batman is Mr. Don't kill anybody because we're not vigilantes, and she'd be okay with killing people if she had to take out the mafia. And there's like a really neat like backstory for her where I'll go ahead and spoil it. Like her entire family was killed by one of the Dons, and she was the only one left alive. And then the Dons take care of her because she's family. So there's this great contrast, just like in The Godfather, between there's this cool aspect of the mafia where they love family, they have this strong sense of honor, they take care of each other, and this tragic evil sense of the mafia where they'll kill everyone you know and love and then take care of you because you're family. It's this sort of tragic contrast within Sicilian Italian mafia culture, and it's really dope. So there's a lot of talking and back and forth, but it's pretty intelligent because she's walking this fine line where she's the huntress and she's hunting down the mafia, and she's still involved in the family and kind of like strong family bonds with some of these mafioso dons. It ends with the Question showing up, who's like a cool, conspiracy theory investigator type character. So he's a good fit for kind of like this hard-boiled gangster story. And that's where it leaves off. So good on Greg Rucka for actually doing some research to flesh out the world and kind of make you buy the Italian mafia element. He even does like a joke lampshading it about how her godfather, her literal godfather, is a mafia don. However, because he did that extra research, he successfully makes it feel like more than just a guy copying The Godfather. Tries to actually like bring you into the world of the mafia and some of like the contrast or like the religious difficulty for a character like Huntress, who is killing people, maybe not, but also has this faith and sort of this struggle of, is it just for me to be dispensing justice this way? Really neat. So this one's going to get given away. This one I'm going to be holding on for the nephews and nieces. With that, I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Catch you later.